Hello and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. Today we discuss, does space ever end or go on forever? So let's start.
A question in the dark. The night wraps around you like a velvet cloak, heavy with silence and starlight. The air in your room is still, carrying only the faintest scent of lavender from your pillow and the distant hum of the world outside settling into slumber. Above you, the ceiling dissolves, not into darkness, but into depth, an endless well of space where pinpricks of light tremble like distant fireflies caught in a cosmic breeze. You've asked this question before, in daylight, in passing, but here, in the quiet, it returns with the weight of something ancient. Does space ever end? The words linger in the air, soft as a feather falling in slow motion, and suddenly, the room around you feels less like four walls and more like a cradle suspended in the vastness of the universe. You close your eyes, and the sensation begins, a gentle lifting as if the universe itself has exhaled and carried you upward. There is no sound, no rush of wind, only the slow, inevitable drift of your thoughts. The bed beneath you fades, the walls melt like sugar in tea, and there is only the infinite. The stars are no longer distant points of light, but doorways, each one a sun with its own stories, its own world spinning in the darkness. You reach out, not with your hands, but with your wonder, and the darkness hums back, a vibration older than time, a song without beginning or end. Scientists call this the observable universe, a bubble of light, 93 billion light-years wide, filled with galaxies like spilled glitter across black velvet. But you are not thinking of numbers now. You are thinking of the edge. If you sailed to the farthest star, would you find a wall? A signpost marking the end of existence? Or would you simply see more stars, stretching onward like echoes in a canyon, each one a stepping stone into deeper mystery? The thought makes you shiver, not from cold, but from the delicious vastness of it all. The way the question seems to expand, the moment you try to hold it in your mind. A meteor streaks past, a flicker of gold against the black, here and gone in the space between heartbeats. It reminds you that space is not empty. It is alive with motion, with whispers of gas and dust, with planets spinning like tops in the dark, with comets tracing long, lazy arcs through the nothingness. Even here, in the quiet, there is music, the slow, deep thrum of pulsars, the solar wind brushing against your imaginary cheeks like the gentlest of breezes. You are so small. The universe is so large, and yet you are here, thinking about there, which means in some way you are already part of it. The atoms in your hands, in your breath, in the very thoughts that weave this question, they were forged in the hearts of stars, scattered across the cosmos before finding their way into you. You are not separate from the universe. You are its way of knowing itself. The longer you float, the softer the question becomes. It is no longer a riddle to solve, but a lullaby to wander through, a melody that changes shape each time you hum it. Maybe space doesn't end. Maybe it folds, like a ribbon curled into a box, or a story that loops back to its beginning. Maybe edge is just a word we use because our minds need borders, like fences around a dream. Or perhaps the universe is like a book with no last page. Every time you turn a corner, there's another chapter, another sentence, another word waiting to be read. A yawn tumbles from your lips unbidden. The stars blur, not from distance, but from the weight of your eyelids, the slow pull of sleep wrapping around you like a second gravity. You feel yourself sinking back into your pillow, the cosmos receding like a tide pulling away from the shore. But the question lingers, glowing faintly in the back of your mind, an ember in the dark, a spark that refuses to be extinguished. What lies beyond what we can see? And as sleep tugs at your thoughts, you realize this is only the beginning. The universe has whispered its first secret. The darkness cradles you now, warm and close, but the stars still murmur their secrets, their light traveling across millennia just to reach your half-closed eyes. Tomorrow you'll unfold the map of the known, the one you carry inside you, drawn in starlight and wonder, a chart of all that we've seen and all that we've yet to imagine. But for tonight, the universe stretches on, endless and patient, waiting for you to dream your way closer. Before you journey too far, you carry a quiet map inside you, the observable universe, wrapped in light. The map of the known. You awaken not with a start, but with a slow unfurling, as if your mind has been traveling while your body rested. The stars still hover above you, but now they feel closer, as if you've been invited to trace the constellations with your fingertips. There's a map in your hands, one you didn't realize you were holding. It's not paper or parchment, but something alive, shimmering with the soft glow of a million galaxies. This, the known universe, and it fits in the cradle of your imagination like a firefly cupped in palms. Scientists would say this map stretches 93 billion light-years across, a number so large it feels like a fairy tale. Imagine a soap bubble, fragile and perfect, with tiny specks of gold suspended in its film. Each speck is a galaxy, and the bubble is expanding, gently but relentlessly, carrying its glittering cargo farther apart. You blow on it lightly, and the specks drift, not through the bubble, but with it, just as galaxies ride the fabric of space itself. This is your map, a cosmic snow globe, ever growing, its edges always retreating. At the very rim of this bubble lies the oldest story the universe can tell us, the cosmic microwave background. It's the afterglow of the Big Bang, a whisper of heat from when the cosmos was a newborn, swaddled in plasma. To your surprise, it doesn't feel like data or noise. It feels like pressing your ear to a seashell and hearing the ocean's memory. This is the limit of our vision, the point where light arrives from so far away that it's stretched into radio waves, faint as a grandmother's lullaby. Beyond it, the universe might go on forever, but here, the map turns soft at the edges, like a charcoal sketch smudged by a thumb. You tilt your head, studying the glow. Why can't we see farther? The answer comes like a sigh. Light has a speed. The stars here at the map's edge are so distant that their light has taken nearly the age of the universe to reach us. Their beams are marathon runners, exhausted but triumphant, collapsing into telescopes as their final act. And just as you can't hear a shout from across an ocean, we can't see what lies beyond this glow. Not because it isn't there, but because its light hasn't had time to arrive. The thought sends a shiver through you. The universe might be infinite, but our view of it is a tiny window, fogged by time. A cluster of galaxies catches your eye, whirlpools of stars spinning lazily. They're fleeing from one another. Not in panic, but in the stately retreat of dancers in a waltz. This is Hubble's law in motion. The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it recedes. You try to follow one with your finger, but it's like chasing a firefly into the night. The faster you reach, the quicker it slips away. Space itself stretches between you, a rubber band pulled taut, until the galaxy's light stretches too, reddening like a sunset. Those distant stars will vanish from our map entirely, their light stretched too thin to see. The bubble will grow quieter, lonelier, but tonight, they're still here, still singing. You trace a spiral galaxy's arms, wondering if someone there might be drawing your galaxy on their map. The idea makes you smile. Maps are always stories after all. Not just of where we are, but of how far we've dared to look. And this map, for all its grandeur, is humbling. However vast it seems, it's only a porch light flickering in a hurricane of darkness. Beyond its glow, the universe might be stranger still. Endless copies of our bubble, folds in space like crumpled paper, or geometry so curved they loop back on themselves like Ouroboros snakes. A yawn tugs at you again. The map begins to dim, its galaxies receding like embers in a dying fire. But before sleep takes you, you notice something odd. The edge of the observable universe isn't a wall, it's a horizon. Just as sailors once feared falling off the edge of the world, only to learn the Earth was round all along. You sense that this boundary isn't an end, just a bend in the road, a curve in the story. And just beyond it, light is still traveling. The map fades now, its galaxies dissolving like sugar in tea, but the question remains. What happens when the light finally arrives? Tomorrow, you'll chase a photon at light speed, a messenger from the edge of time. But for tonight, the universe keeps its oldest secrets, wrapped in a darkness so deep, not even stars can pierce it. Lee. Light travels fast, but not instantly. Everything you see is a message from the past. The speed of light and the edge of sight. The darkness around you is soft now, like the hush between two heartbeats. You feel yourself drifting again, not upward this time, but forward, as if the universe has leaned in to whisper a secret. The map from yesterday lingers in your mind, those distant galaxies, their light stretched thin by time, and now you begin to understand why they feel like ghosts. Light, for all its speed, is slow in the face of infinity. You close your eyes and suddenly you are riding a beam of light, not as a passenger, but as part of it, a shimmering thread in the cosmic tapestry, weaving through the black. Scientists call it 299,792 kilometers per second, a number so precise it feels like a hymn to order. But to you, it's simply motion without sound, a glide so smooth it's like being carried by a river you cannot see. Stars pass by not as pinpricks, but as slow blooming flow. Flowers of radiance, their light reaching out to you across years, decades, millennia. That one, the blue giant winking in the distance, its light is older than the pyramids. The red dwarf beside it, its glow began its journey when woolly mammoths still walked the earth. You are not just moving through space, you are surfing time itself. A planet swims into view, a marble of blues and greens, and your breath catches. It's Earth, but not as you know it. The continents are strange, huddled together in ways no map in your schoolbooks ever showed. This is your world as it was 300 million years ago, when dinosaurs dozed beneath ferns and the first timid mammals scurried in the shadows. The light from this moment has traveled all this way, only to meet you here, now, in the depths of your wonder. You reach out, a futile human gesture, and the image ripples, not because it's fragile, but because you're remembering. To look up at the stars is to open a history book written in fire. The photon... You ride doesn't tire, it doesn't hurry. It simply is, unwavering in its path, a messenger with only one rule: never stop, never slow. Yet for all its constancy, light is bound by a cruel irony. The faster something moves through space, the slower it moves through time. A clock riding this beam would barely tick at all, while back on Earth, centuries would flicker like pages in a wind. You think of the astronauts who left mirrors on the moon, still reflecting lasers shot from Earth. Those reflections are proof. Even over such a tiny distance, light hesitates. It takes time to say, "I am here." A nebula drifts into view, a swirl of pinks and purples, the cradle of newborn stars. Its light is young compared to the ancient glow of the cosmic microwave background, but no less precious. Here, photons are born in the hearts of stars, then spend millennia dodging dust motes and magnetic fields before finally breaking free into the open dark. Some will travel for a telescope, their stories forever untold. Others, like the ones dancing in your retina right now, are the lucky ones. They've found you. You press onward, passing galaxies that recoil from you, their light reddening like autumn leaves. The farther they are, the faster they flee, not through space, but with it, as if the universe is a loaf of raisin bread rising in some cosmic oven, each raisin, each galaxy, carried apart by the swelling dough. One galaxy catches your eye, its spiral arms stretched into smears of gold by the relentless expansion. Its light is so old that by the time it reaches you, the galaxy itself may be gone, collided with another, or faded into the background hum of the universe. You are seeing a memory, not an object. A question forms, slow as syrup. If light is this slow, how much are we missing? The answer comes wrapped in velvet darkness. Beyond a certain point, the universe is receding so quickly that its light will never reach us. Those regions are lost to us forever, not by distance, but by the inflexible speed limit of the very beams that might have carried their stories. The cosmos has built its own horizons, not of rock or water, but of physics itself. A yawn rises in you unbidden. The photon you ride is tiring. No, you are tiring, your human mind fraying at the edges of such vastness. The stars begin to blur, not from speed, but from the weight of your eyelids. You feel yourself slowing, though the light does not. It races on, endless, patient, while you sink back into the pull of earth, of blankets, of the quiet room waiting to reclaim you. But just before you go, you'll glimpse something, or perhaps you imagine it. A flicker at the edge of sight, a glow even older than the cosmic microwave background. Is it another universe? A light from before time? The afterimage of something too vast to name? The vision slips away before you can grasp it, leaving only a whisper. There are stories light hasn't brought us yet. The stars above you know are the same as always, but you'll never see them the same way again. Tomorrow, you'll learn how space itself stretches, a balloon inflating silently in the cosmic dark. But tonight, sleep comes like a gentle red shift, lengthening your thoughts until even time itself feels soft. Imagine space as a balloon, gently swelling in the stillness. The expanding balloon. Imagine space as a balloon, gently swelling in the stillness. Galaxies drift apart like stars printed on its surface, not moving through space, but with it. As the balloon grows, so does your awe, not just of how big the universe is, but how big it's becoming. You close your eyes and feel it stretch and stretch. The darkness around you feels different tonight, not quite empty, not quite still, but alive with a slow, inevitable breath. You lie there, wrapped in the quiet, and suddenly you can feel it. Space itself is stretching, not like a rubber band pulled taut, nor like a thread unraveling, but like a balloon expanding. The hands of some sleepy giant, its surface smooth and cool against your imagination. You reach out, not with your hands, but with your mind. And there it is, the universe as a vast cosmic balloon. Not the bright party-colored kind, but one spun from the deepest black, its surface studded with galaxies like flecks of gold and dark marble. Each one is fixed in place, not racing away from the others, but carried apart by the gentle swelling of the fabric beneath them. You press a finger to one, there, the spiral whirl of Andromeda, and watch as it drifts lazily away, not because it's moving, but because the space between you is growing. Scientists call this cosmic expansion, but the words feel too sharp for what you're witnessing. This isn't an explosion. It's not a firework bursting outward in a blaze of chaos. It's quieter than that, slower, like yeast working its way through dough, or the way a forest grows when no one is looking, inch by inch, century by century, without a single branch. Ever feeling the strain? The galaxies don't fight it. They don't resist. They simply are, passengers on a journey they didn't choose, bound by rules written into the universe before time had a name. You focus on two galaxies in particular, their light faint but steady. A moment ago, they were neighbors, now a finger's width apart. You blink, and the distance has grown again. It's not that they're speeding away from each other. It's that the space between them is multiplying, quietly and without fanfare. The farther apart they are, the faster the distance grows, as if the universe is weaving new threads into its fabric, stitching emptiness into existence with invisible hands. A question forms in the back of your mind. What's outside the balloon? The moment you think it, the image wavers. Maybe there is no outside. Maybe the question is like a fish asking what's beyond the ocean. Not because the answer is unknowable, but because the very idea of beyond might not mean anything at all. The balloon isn't expanding into anything. It's just growing, the way a thought grows when you let it wander, the way a dream unfolds behind closed eyelids. You let your fingers trail across the surface again, this time feeling for the heat of the Big Bang's afterglow, the cosmic microwave background. It's still here, fainter now, stretched by time and expansion into a whisper of warmth. Once it was the universe's first light, blazing and furious. Now it's a lullaby, humming just beneath the silence, a reminder that everything was once pressed together, closer than atoms in a stone. A yawn tugs at you, but you're not ready to sleep yet. There's more to see. You squint at the farthest edge of the balloon, where galaxies are vanishing one by one, their light stretched too thin to see. The expansion there isn't just gentle, it's relentless, speeding up as some unseen force, dark energy the scientists call it. Though there's nothing dark about the way it feels, pushes space apart faster, and light can bridge the gap. Those galaxies aren't dying, they're just leaving, their stories carried beyond the horizon of what we'll ever know. The thought should sadden you, but instead, it fills you with a quiet wonder. The universe isn't static, it's not some frozen sculpture in the dark. It's alive, breathing, growing in ways we can't fully grasp. And you, here now, half dreaming, are part of it. Your thoughts, your breath, the slow pulse of blood in your veins, all of it is riding the expansion, just like those distant galaxies. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you can almost feel it. The stretch of space between your atoms, the infinite patience of a universe in no hurry to be understood. The balloon grows larger and larger still, until even the idea of edges feels silly. How could something so vast have an end? How could something so gentle ever stop? Sleep comes softly, but the expansion doesn't. It continues without you, relentless and kind, a reminder that the universe has its own rhythm, and you are just beginning to hear the beat. The balloon fades now, its galaxies dissolving like salt in warm water, but the feeling remains. Space is growing, and so are you. Tomorrow, you'll ask what shape the universe might be. Flat like paper, or curved like a forgotten melody. But tonight, there's only the stretch and sigh of infinity, and the quiet joy of being part of something so much larger. What shape is the universe? Flat like a calm lake, curved like a gentle hill, or looping like a sphere? Shapes in the dark. What shape is the universe? Flat like a calm lake, curved like a gentle hill, or looping like a sphere? Mathematicians and physicists peer into its curvature. But you dream in shapes and shadows. Tonight, You fold space like origami in your mind, wrapping yourself in questions softer than sleep. The shape may hold the answer, or more wonder. The darkness around you feels different tonight. Not empty, but waiting, as if the you has paused to consider its own reflection. You close your eyes, and suddenly, you're not just floating in space, you're holding it in your hands, turning it over like a smooth stone found on some cosmic shore. The question lingers in the air, tender as a breath. What shape are you? At first, the answer seems simple. The universe could be flat, not like a sheet of paper, but like the surface of a perfectly still lake, stretching endlessly in every direction. In this version of reality, two parallel laser beams would race side by side forever, never meeting, never diverging, like train tracks vanishing into the horizon. You try to imagine it, this infinite plane, but your mind keeps wanting to ask, what's beneath it? And that's the trouble with flatness. It feels like it needs edges, even though, by definition, it has none. So you let the idea shift. Maybe the universe is curved, gently, like the slope of a hill, just steep enough to make your calves ache. Not a hill you can see, of course, but one you'd discover only by walking far enough to realize you've come full circle. In this world, those parallel laser beams would eventually find each other, drawn together by the invisible bend of space itself. You picture it like an old vinyl record warped by sunlight, still playable, still beautiful, but with a secret geometry humming beneath the surface. Then comes the third possibility. The universe could be closed, a sphere so vast you'd never notice its curve unless you traveled far enough to meet your own shadow. Here, the laser beams would cross like strands in a spider web, weaving patterns older than time. You imagine setting off in one direction, and, eons later, arriving back where you started, like an ant crawling around an apple. The thought makes you smile. There's something comforting about a universe that loops back on itself. No edges to fall off, no voids to get lost in, just one endless, unbroken path. But how do we know? The answer, like so much in cosmology, is written in light. Scientists search for clues in the cosmic microwave background, that ancient afterglow from the dawn of time. If the universe is positively curved, distant patches of this light would appear larger than expected, like continents on a globe. If it's flat, they'd match predictions perfectly. And if it's negatively curved, a shape harder to picture, like the flared skirt of a saddle, they'd seem smaller. So far, the measurements whisper flat, but the margin of error is smaller than a snowflake on a mountain. The universe might still be curved, just so gently we haven't noticed yet. You run your fingers through the darkness, trying to feel for bends. Of course, you find nothing. But then, a moth doesn't feel the wind either, only the way it pushes against its wings. Perhaps curvature is like that, invisible until you move through it. You think of astronauts orbiting Earth, forever falling but never landing. Their path bent by a gravity they can't see. Could the whole universe be doing the same, drifting along curves too vast to perceive? A yawn threatens to pull you under, but you resist, turning the question over one more time. Maybe shape is the wrong word. Maybe the universe isn't an object at all, but a relationship between mass and energy, between space and time, between what we can measure and what we can only dream. Mathematicians speak of Calabi-Yau manifolds, of higher dimensions curled tighter than a fiddle string. But tonight, those concepts feel less like equations and more like lullabies, humming just beyond comprehension. You let your mind drift now, no longer seeking answers, just floating with the possibilities. The flat universe stretches like an infinite quilt. The curved one wraps around you like a grandmother's shawl. The closed one cradles you like a palm cupped around a candle flame. All three exist simultaneously in this moment, not as truths, but as stories the cosmos might tell about itself. Sleep comes softly, but the shapes remain. They dance behind your eyelids, not as diagrams or equations, but as feelings, as whispers of something too large to hold. The last thought you have before dreams take you is that perhaps the universe isn't one shape, but all of them, depending on how you look. And who's to say which way of looking is the truest? The shapes dissolve now, folding back into the dark like paper boats on a midnight pond. Tomorrow, you'll hold infinity in your hands, not as a concept, but as something quiet and close. But tonight, the universe keeps its geometry soft, its edges blurred, its questions open. Infinity sounds enormous, but what if it's right there, tucked into your thoughts? Infinity in your pocket. Infinity sounds enormous, but what if it's right there, tucked into your thoughts? You think about numbers that never end, a song that never stops, a road without a turn. Could space be just like that? Limitless, gentle, eternal? Infinity is big, yes, but also strangely close. Night wraps around you like a familiar blanket, its darkness soft and forgiving. You lie still, breathing in time with the universe, and feel something new stirring at the edges of your consciousness. Not a question this time, but a presence. Infinity. The word itself feels heavy when you say it aloud, like a stone dropped into a still pond, sending ripples through your imagination. But here in the quiet, with sleep hovering just beyond reach, infinity doesn't feel vast or cold or distant. It feels intimate, curled up beside you like a cat purring in the dark. You close your eyes, and suddenly you're holding infinity in your hands. Not the mathematical kind, not the rigid, unyielding infinity of equations and proofs, but something softer, a living, breathing thing. It's in the way your thoughts spiral outward, never quite stopping, always finding new paths to wander. It's in the rhythm of your heartbeat, steady and endless, at least for now. It's in the way the stars above you stretch. On and on, their light weaving a tapestry so vast that no one, not even the universe itself, knows where it ends. Scientists speak of infinity as a concept, a tool for measuring what cannot be measured. They use it to describe black holes, where gravity bends space and time into a knot so tight that even light cannot escape. They use it to describe the universe itself, which might stretch on forever, an endless expanse of galaxies and dust and dark matter. But tonight, infinity doesn't feel like a tool or a theory. It feels like a companion, whispering secrets in a language older than words. You imagine numbers first, the counting kind, the ones children use when they're trying to stay awake past bedtime. 1, 2, 3. You could count forever, and you'd never reach the end. There's always one more number, one more step, one more breath. The idea should feel overwhelming, but instead, it's comforting. Infinity isn't just out there in the cosmos. It's here, in the simple act of count. In the way your thoughts stretch forward and back, unspooling like thread from a never-ending spool. Then you think of time. Not the seconds ticking by on the clock, but the deep, slow time of the universe itself. The kind of time that stretches from the Big Bang to the distant heat death of everything, and beyond, if such a thing exists. You imagine yourself as a tiny flicker in that vast timeline, a spark that flares and fades in the blink of eternity's eye. But even as the thought forms, it shifts. Because if time is infinite, then every moment, every breath, every heartbeat exists somewhere in that endless stream. You are not just a flicker. You are part of the fire. A yawn tugs at you, but you're not ready to sleep yet. There's more to explore. You turn your attention to space, to the infinite expanse that cradles everything you've ever known. Scientists say the universe might be infinite, but what does that really mean? You try to picture it, a space with no edges, no boundaries, no outside. It's like trying to imagine the end of a song that never stops, or the horizon on an ocean that never meets the sky. The harder you focus, the more the idea slips away, dissolving into something that feels less like a fact and more like a feeling. And that's when it hits you. Infinity isn't something you understand with your mind. It's something you feel in your bones. It's the shiver that runs down your spine when you stare up at the Milky Way, knowing that each pinprick of light is a sun with its own planets, its own stories. It's the ache in your chest when you think about the people you love and how that love stretches forward and back, connecting you to generations past and future. It's the quiet certainty that no matter how much you learn, there will always be more to discover. You shift under the covers, the fabric soft against your skin. Infinity is here, in the warmth of your bed, in the rhythm of your breathing. It's in the way your thoughts circle back to the same questions, the same wonders night after night. It's in the way the universe expands, not just out there, but inside you, in the spaces between your atoms, in the electric hum of your nerves. A memory surfaces, a childhood game perhaps, where you tried to imagine what lay beyond the edge of the world. You'd picture a wall, or a cliff, or a great yawning void. But now, with infinity curled up beside you, the idea of an edge feels silly. The universe doesn't need one. It simply is, boundless and whole, a tapestry with no beginning and no end. Sleep is closer now, its weight pressing gently against your eyelids. You let your thoughts drift, no longer trying to grasp infinity, but simply resting in presence. It's not a problem to solve or a concept to master. It's a mystery to live inside, a vast and gentle darkness that holds you as surely as the night holds the stars. And as you finally surrender to sleep, one last thought flickers through your mind. If infinity is everywhere, then you are already home. The night deepens around you, infinite and intimate, its darkness cradling you like a promise. Tomorrow, you'll stand at the edge of the cosmic horizon, peering into the unknown. But tonight, infinity is here, in the quiet, in the dark, in the steady beat of your heart. There are places you can never see, not because they're hidden, but because light hasn't reached you yet. Cosmic horizons. There are places you can never see, not because they're hidden, but because light hasn't reached you yet. These are the cosmic horizons, places beyond time's reach. You stand quietly at the edge of the observable, peering into the beyond, like watching waves curl at the edge of a dream. And beyond those waves, who knows what drifts? You lie still, letting your breath settle into the quiet, and suddenly you're standing at the shore of an endless ocean. Not an ocean of water, but of space and time, its waves rolling in slow, silent arcs towards some unseen horizon. This, edge of everything we can know, the limit of our vision, and as you gaze outward, you realize with a quiet thrill that you're not just looking at space, you're looking into the past. The cosmic horizon isn't a wall or a boundary. It's more like a veil, woven from the very fabric of light's limitations. Every star, every galaxy you see, is a message sent across the ages, its light traveling for millions or even billions of years just to reach your eyes. But beyond a certain point, the light hasn't had time to arrive yet. The universe is only 13.8 billion years old, and light moves at a fixed speed. So there are regions so distant that their light is still en route, streaking through the void like letters lost in the cosmic mail. You strain your eyes, as if you could push your sight just a little farther, but the horizon holds firm. The universe keeps its secrets close. You take a step forward, not with your body, but with your mind, and suddenly you're floating at the very edge of the observable universe. Behind you, the familiar constellations glow like old friends. Ahead, there's only darkness. But it's not an empty darkness. It's a waiting darkness, pregnant with possibilities. Scientists call this the Hubble volume, the sphere of space from which light has had time to reach us. Beyond it, there are surely more galaxies, more stars, more wonders. But they're hidden from view, not by any physical barrier, but by the simple fact that the universe hasn't existed long enough for their light to cross the gulf. A shiver runs through you as you contemplate what might lie beyond. Another Milky Way? A trillion more galaxies? Or perhaps something stranger, realities where the laws of physics twist into new shapes, where time flows backward, where space itself knots into impossible geometries. The possibilities stretch outward like reflections in a hall of mirrors, each more tantalizing than the last. You think of early sailors, standing on the prow of their ships, wondering what lay beyond the curve of the earth. The cosmic horizon is like that, but grander, more mysterious. We are all sailors on this ocean of space-time, and the shore is forever receding. You reach out a hand, half expecting to feel some resistance, but your fingers pass through the horizon as if it were mist. Because that's all it is, really, an illusion of perspective, a trick of light and time. In another billion years, the horizon will have moved, revealing new patches of the universe as their light finally arrives. But by then, the most distant galaxies we see today will have vanished over the new horizon, their light stretched too thin by the universe's expansion. It's a slow cosmic dance, this coming and going of light, and you're struck by how temporary our view of the universe really is. A soundless sigh escapes you as you consider the fate of those vanishing galaxies. They're not disappearing in the traditional sense. They're simply passing beyond our ability to see them. There, light redshifted into oblivion by the relentless expansion of space. One day, far in the future, the night sky will be dark, even between stars, all other galaxies having receded beyond visibility. The thought should feel lonely, but instead it fills you with a strange, quiet awe. We live in a privileged moment, cosmically speaking, a time when we can still see the afterglow of creation and the great tapestry of galaxies. Future civilizations, if there are any, will inherit a far emptier sky, becoming less a boundary and more a threshold, a doorway to dreams where you might glimpse what lies beyond. The waves of darkness lap gently at the shores of your consciousness, carrying you into a sea of possibilities where light hasn't yet arrived, where the universe is still writing its story, where the next great discovery is always just over the horizon. The horizon fades now, blending into the night like ink in water, but its lesson remains. The universe is always larger than we can see. Tomorrow, you'll ponder edges that aren't edges, borders that don't divide. But tonight, you sleep at the shore of infinity, lulled by waves of light that haven't reached you yet. Edges feel solid, like a wall, a fence, a cliff. But space doesn't end like that. The illusion of edges. Edges feel solid, like a wall, a fence, a cliff. But space doesn't end like that. It might have no outside. Instead of a line, it could be a loop. Instead of a border, a bend. You wander this idea gently, like in a forest with no clear edge, only more trees. The night wraps around you like a favorite blanket, its darkness soft and complete. You lie still, feeling the weight of your body sinking into the mattress, and let your mind drift toward the question that's been hovering at the edges of your thoughts. Where does space truly end? The idea of an edge feels comforting in its simplicity, a place where the universe stops, where you could press your palm against some cosmic boundary and feel the solidness of whatever lies beyond. But as you float deeper into the thought, the certainty begins to dissolve, like mist under morning sun. You close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at what should be the edge of everything. Before you stretches the vast expanse of the cosmos, galaxies spiraling, stars burning, the endless dark between them. Behind you, you expect to find a wall, a barrier, something to mark the end of existence. But when you turn, there's nothing there. No line, no sign, no sudden void, just more space, stretching on in every direction, as if the universe has quietly laughed at your need for boundaries. Scientists speak of this mystery with careful words. The universe, they say, may be finite but unbounded, a concept that makes your head spin if you think too hard about it. Like an ant crawling on the surface of a balloon, you could travel forever in what feels like a straight line, only to eventually return to where you started. There would be no edge, no precipice to mark your progress, just the gentle, imperceptible curve of reality itself. You try to picture it, space bending back on itself in some higher dimension, but the image slips away like water through your fingers. It's not something meant to be seen, only felt in the quietest moments of contemplation. A memory surfaces, walking through a forest as a child, the trees stretching on in every direction. You'd wondered then if the woods ever truly ended, or if they simply gave way to different trees, different landscapes, in an unbroken chain across the world. Now, floating in the dark, you realize the universe might be the same. There's no signpost announcing, this is where existence stops. No cosmic fence dividing here from there. Just the endless, interconnected web of space and time, folding and unfolding in patterns too large to comprehend. You reach out with your mind, trying to touch the idea of a universe with no edges. At first, it feels unsettling. Like stepping onto what should be solid ground, only to find it's as substantial as smoke. But gradually, the unease gives way to wonder. Without edges, the universe becomes something alive, breathing, whole, not a collection of parts with borders between them, but a single, seamless entity. The planets, the stars, the drifting nebulae, all connected in ways that defy simple geometry. Even the emptiness between them isn't truly empty, but thrumming with quantum possibilities, with fields and forces that weave everything. A yawn tugs at your consciousness, but you're not ready to sleep yet. There's more to explore. You think about the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light in the universe, and how it shows no signs of edges or boundaries. Its patterns are uniform in every direction, as if the early universe knew no concept of outside. The data whispers that if edges exist, they're so far beyond our observable bubble that they might as well be imaginary. And perhaps they are. Perhaps the very idea of an edge is just a trick of perspective, a limitation not of the universe, but of the minds trying to understand it. You shift under the covers, the fabric cool against your skin. The thought settles over you. We are creatures evolved to navigate a world of surfaces and boundaries, of objects with clear beginnings and ends. But the universe owes us no such simplicity. It may curve in ways we can't perceive, or repeat in fractal patterns, or connect back to itself like a Mobius strip turned inside out. The mathematics hint at these possibilities, but the truth remains just beyond reach, shimmering at the corner of your mind's eye like a mirage. As sleep draws nearer, the edges of your own thoughts begin to soften. The boundary between waking and dreaming blurs, and for a fleeting moment, you glimpse what it might be like to exist without edges. To be part of something so vast and complete that the very idea of outside becomes meaningless. It's a feeling more than an understanding, a quiet knowing in your bones that the universe is both larger and more intimate than you'd ever imagined. The last conscious thought you have before sleep takes you is that perhaps you've been asking the wrong question all along. Not where does space end, but why do we assume it needs to? The darkness holds you now, boundless and complete, its edges nothing more than tricks of the light. Tomorrow, you will wander through gardens of possibility, where every universe is a bubble in some greater foam. Tonight, you sleep in a world without walls, cradled by the gentle curve of everything. What if space is not alone? Just as your dream holds many thoughts, maybe the universe holds many worlds. The universe within you. Your atoms once traveled the universe. They came from stars, from galaxies, from every corner you've dreamed of tonight. You are not outside the cosmos. You are the cosmos, curled up under a blanket of stars. Space is not out there. It's here, in you. The night wraps around you like a second skin, warm and familiar, as you settle deeper into the quiet. The stars outside your window seem brighter tonight, their light piercing the darkness with a clarity that feels almost intentional, as if they're trying to tell you something. You close your eyes, and in the hush that follows, you feel it, a resonance, deep and primal, humming just beneath your awareness. It's the universe, but not the one out there, beyond the atmosphere. It's the one inside you, the one you carry. Every cell, every breath, every heartbeat, you place a hand on your chest, feeling the steady rhythm beneath your ribs. Each pulse is an echo of something far older than your body, older than the earth itself. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon that forms the foundation of your being. None of it originated here. These atoms were forged in the hearts of dying stars, scattered across the cosmos in supernova explosions that lit up the darkness, billions of years before your birth. The oxygen you just exhaled might have once been part of a distant nebula, drifting for eons before finding its way into your lungs. The hydrogen in the water that makes up most of your body is primordial, dating back to the very beginning of everything. You are not just a creature of the universe. You are its living archive. A shiver runs through you as the magnitude of this settles into your bones. The division you've always felt between you and the cosmos begins to dissolve, like sugar in warm tea. There was never really a boundary, only the illusion of one, created by the limits of your perception. You've spent these nights gazing outward, marveling at the expanse of space, never realizing you were looking in a mirror. Every galaxy you've imagined, every star you've wished upon, every dark corner of the universe you've wondered about, they're all part of you as surely as your own thoughts. You take a deep breath, and suddenly, you're floating not just in your room, but in the vast timeline of existence itself. The carbon atoms in your fingertips might have once been part of an ancient fern that fed a dinosaur. The nitrogen in your DNA could have cycled through countless organisms before becoming part of you. The gold in your jewelry was likely created in the collision of neutron stars, a violent, glorious event that occurred light years away and millennia ago. Every piece of you has a cosmic pedigree, a story written in the language of physics and chemistry, spanning distances and durations too vast to comprehend. And it's not just your material self that's stardust. Your thoughts, your emotions, the very consciousness that allows you to ponder these things. They too are part of the universe's grand unfolding. The electrical impulses dancing in your brain right now are echoes of the same fundamental forces that govern the motion of planets and the birth of stars. The wonder you feel when you look at the night sky is the universe becoming aware of itself, peering back through your eyes at its own magnificence. A yawn tugs at you, but you resist for just a moment longer, wanting to sit with this revelation. You think of all the times you felt small beneath the stars, overwhelmed by their number and distance. But the truth is so much stranger. You're not beneath them at all. You're among them. Of them, a localized concentration of the same stuff that makes up everything else. The only difference is that in you, the universe has become like. Your eyelids grow heavy. But before sleep takes you, one last thought crystallizes. When you touch your own skin, you're touching the universe. When you feel your heartbeat, you're feeling the rhythm of cosmic processes that began nearly 14 billion years ago. The warmth of your body is the afterglow of creation itself, the same energy that fuels the stars now coursing through your veins. As you finally surrender to sleep, the boundaries dissolve completely. There's no you and universe. There's only the universe, infinite, ancient, and miraculously alive in this particular configuration that thinks of itself as you. The stars outside your window twinkle in silent recognition, their light traveling across time and space to meet the starlight within you. The night cradles you now, no longer separate from what you are, but part of what you've always been. Tomorrow, you'll wake to a world where every atom sings with the memory of stars. But tonight, you sleep as the universe dreaming, whole, connected, and endlessly becoming. There's no final answer tonight, only a deep breath, a pause, a softness. The universe doesn't hum like a song or tick like a clock. It breathes softly, quietly, and without pause. As you lie there, eyes heavy, wrapped in warmth, the cosmos is still moving, still stretching, still unfolding in silence. You are no longer trying to find the edge. You've wandered so far through thought and time that the question no longer feels like a problem to be solved, but a doorway to endless dreaming. You remember asking, does space ever end? But now, the question has become something else. Not a destination, not a boundary, but a rhythm. A lullaby written in starlight and void. Imagine now, a quiet ripple on a pond that has no shores. The ripple spreads not outward on a flat surface, but everywhere, in all directions at once. That ripple is space itself, expanding not into anything, but carrying everything with it. Galaxies like petals, nebulae, and you drifting softly in thought are part of this motion. You are stardust. That's not a metaphor. The atoms in your bones were made in stars that lived and died before Earth was even born. Your calcium, your carbon, your oxygen, all forged in stellar furnaces and scattered across the galaxy. You are not just in the universe. You are the universe, organized gently into a sleeping shape. So when you wonder about the edge of space, you are also wondering about the edges of yourself. And the truth is, there may be no edge. The universe may curve gently upon itself, like a circle you can never walk to the end of. Or it may stretch forever, like a lullaby that never ends, playing softly to itself in the dark. Or, and here's a softer thought still, perhaps the question is more beautiful than any answer we might find. You picture the galaxies again, each one a swirl of hundreds of billions of stars, each star home to the possibility of planets, moons, and maybe even other eyes look. You are not just gazing at the cosmos. You are part of it gazing at itself. And while the mind stretches outward into galaxies, the heart folds inward into the warm, glowing center of curiosity. It beats not in rush, but in rhythm. Your thoughts become slower, your breath deeper. Your questions remain, not to be solved tonight, but to rest with you companions rather than puzzles. Somewhere out there, perhaps a light from a star is just now reaching Earth. A beam that has traveled for millions of years through black space, just to arrive now, slipping quietly into a telescope, into a photograph, into a story. Time bends and slows in space. Some places are older than they look, others impossibly young. The future and the past mix like currents in an endless ocean. And yet, right now, your presence is anchored in this moment. You, one small being lying still, listening, wondering. In your stillness, you are vast. In your wonder, you are infinite. Maybe this is the secret, the you. That it continues not because it must, but because wonder never ends. No matter how far it stretches, no matter how many galaxies bloom and fade, the one thing that truly continues is curiosity. There is something deeply gentle about not knowing, not in fear, but in calm acceptance. Not knowing as an invitation, a warmth. The universe whispers, you don't need to know everything to belong here. And belonging, that's what the stars give you. Not just facts, but a feeling that the same laws that hold galaxies together also hold you. That the same forces that swirl Saturn's rings also shaped your body, your breath, your bones. The chapter doesn't close with a curtain or a full stop. There is no final edge to the sky, no wall to press your hand against. Only more questions, more silence, more soft unfolding. You think of space not as a place, but a journey. Not something to reach the end of, but something to move through slowly, with wonder. Maybe the universe doesn't want to.
Maybe it wants to be felt. And now, at the edge of sleep, you feel it not through equations or telescopes, but through the quiet center of your own awareness. The space inside you mirrors the space outside. Both are wide, both are unknowable, both are beautiful. Out there, galaxies spin like dancers. Stars are born in clouds of dust. Black holes stretch the fabric of reality. Dark energy pulls on everything gently, endlessly. And inside, your mind slows to a gentle hum. Your thoughts float like feathers on air. You are ready to rest, not because the story is over, but because it never needed an ending. Only a pause, only a breath. And so you breathe. The chapter folds in on itself like a blanket. The stars continue their silent drift, and you, a soft question in the dark, continue too. Somewhere ahead, the map turns to mist, and even that mist becomes light. What lies beyond? Well, that's a story for another night. Do not subscribe our channel. Ha ha!